1 second. My friends, this is my message to EA. You freaking pieces of crap! For gosh sakes, when I freaking come in giving hype to your game over the things such as the single player aspect of an Imperial story, I expect it to be an Imperial story. And for gosh sakes, with the whole multiplayer, what has been with this recent bullcrap? 60,000 credits to play as Luke and Vader, freaking heroes that we had access to in the first game. No, not even just the first game at the final launch. What we had access to the first game's beta back in EA Play in 2015. And you're going to lock that behind a loot crate system for 60,000? I'm trying not to scream right now. I really am. Especially since, one, my parents would get pissed at me if I did. 2, I still try to keep my cool in reviews even when I'm pissed. And C, it's like, Star Wars. It's freaking Star Wars. I don't know what to do. The game's releasing, I don't know, by the time I launch this video, it'll probably already launch, but at the time of me making this, it's Thursday, November 16th, so the game is launching in 3 hours, pretty much, and I don't know what to do. I'm literally caught in a paradox here, because it's like, the multiplayer improvements I gave so much commend, like, you know, like, I get complimented it so much on how they improved aspects from the first game. But at the same time, oh my freaking goodness, how greedy can EA get? Well, I'm just going to list the things that I'm pissed about. 1, the single player campaign. Like, I haven't played it yet, but I've seen the story, I know what happens, and oh my freaking gosh. No offense, I'm just gonna get out of the way. The campaign is complete false advertising. Like, completely. It's like, they promised a game where you fight for the future of the Empire in its final and most desperate hour. That's literally, it's like, here, I will literally check the whole thing, and I will probably, while talking about this, I will add a frickin' thing about it, and, you know, like, explain all this. And yeah, if you look in the frickin' website, it literally says, in quote, I'm not kidding when I say this, in the Believe in the Empire thing, if it would load. Frickin' EA's website is really uncooperative with me today. Maybe it just knows I'm trying to rant on them. Like, good golly. But, okay, while I'm trying to pull up the single player thing. Yeah, okay, so this is literally the quote. In the sky above Endor, the Emperor's superweapon explodes, destroyed by rebel pilots. This cataclysm propels Infernal Squad into a journey across the galaxy on a quest to restore order and quash the rebellion. Really now? Really?
It does. We've been fighting our whole lives. It's taken us too long to realize that we were fighting for the wrong side.
Defection. What an original concept in Star Wars. You know, it's not like every single character in the history of the franchise doesn't end up doing this kind of stuff where, oh, they're quote-unquote misguided by serving the villains and, you know, they see the error in their ways and become the quote-unquote good guys. And how childish is this? How generic? How unoriginal? We came in with the expectation, both due to our, service as well as what they've been marketing, that we would come in understanding the other perspective of this conflict. The idea of finally gaining Imperial characters that would, show us the perspective of the Empire full whole. But it's like now getting any principle of understanding the other perspective is now completely lost. Because it is. Anytime you lead yourself to a character defection, it automatically turns into this childish nonsense. And it concerns me even more now because it's going to elaborate my future with this. It's like, really? Now it's going to get to the point where anytime a quote-unquote bad guy character, like, a character that serves the bad guys, has any relatable or redeeming qualities, anytime they actually, act like real people, I have to automatically assume they're going to defect to the quote-unquote good guys of the franchise. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's so unoriginal. Like, seriously, how many more stories are you going to do about the frickin' rebels? How many more? How many more stories are we going to elaborate with, oh, the rebels, gathering up to go against the evil empire? Gosh, frickin'.
In a time of darkness, when fear ruled the galaxy,
Move along. This is a restricted area.
heroes will rise.
Entering hyperspace.
Destinies will collide.
Who is that kid?
And a rebellion will ignite.
Look, honestly, I wasn't even that big of a fan of having the story set in the original trilogy era. I much would have rather had it in the new trilogy or the Clone Wars. But the reason I accepted it, heck, I even was excited for it, was because at least, it was marketed upon being about the Empire.
I've always been a fan of the dark side. The idea of the Imperial perspective is you never really understand who they are as people, right? Or how the organization works. How can we distill that and how can we make a story around that?
Aiden is a tried and true Imperial. She's somebody who grew up on a planet called Vardos.
She was very quickly put into a military camp for children.
She has spent her whole life building up to this moment to be commander of Inferno Squad.
Moff Ray has informed the Admiral that Operation Cinder could proceed as planned.
Hask is the most zealous of them all, I would say. He's the most interested and invested in how far the Empire is willing to go.
He was an orphan, so he needed something to latch onto.
Empire is peace and justice and order.
Even when people are faltering around him, he pushes forward and says, no, the Empire is the way.
I'm picking up distress calls, too many to count.
Del has seen more of the galaxy than most people in the Empire. He actually grew up on Coruscant during the time of the Jedi.
He brings a lot of humor.
Him and Aiden have a bit of a banter, have a bit of a laugh.
Family is a really important element in Star Wars, and one of the things that we wanted to make sure we captured is the dynamic between Garrick Versio and his daughter Aiden Versio.
This is the catalyst for Aiden, where she learns the future of the Empire and she's elevated to a point by her father.
Your next assignments, they are unusual.
She's my daughter. She's all I have. I do need for her to understand why I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
An organization that I wanted to, I've always wanted to know more about and, get invested in. And the whole thing is, it was a cool, it would have been cool. It would have been cool to have the whole thing with, the story being about someone who actually believes the Empire. Because I wanted the story to be about that. Where the heroes, where this person's loyalty would be challenged. And she would push through. And the honest truth is that in the context of Iden Versio and the Empire, we as the fan base should have had our morals broken faster than she. We should have been like, oh my gosh, the Empire is actually doing a bunch of questionable crap right now. Like, I'm surprised how she's holding through. We as the audience should be thinking that. But no, instead of us making our minds ourselves on how good or evil the Empire actually is, once again, the story makes that decision for us. And that's why I got pissed. Alright, if you're gonna have it where the Empire makes a bunch of questionable acts and stuff so you can kind of clearly, in a way, somewhat clearly define the good guys and the bad guys and whatever, that's fine. But at least have it where you still have the character remain loyal because she believes in that legitimacy, even if she doesn't agree with all the acts that have to be done to uphold it. And like I said, it should be up to the audience on whether or not it's worth it or not after, finishing the campaign and playing through all the events. But no, instead, the game decides, it's just better to, have it where, we don't want to have any gray area. We don't want people saying, oh, are you a bad person for sympathizing with the villains? So we have to clearly define that she defects, so it's like, an error of her ways sort of thing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, guys, seriously, it wouldn't even make me as mad about a defection story. Like, yes, it's unoriginal. It's really oversaturated. But at this point, I wouldn't even have been angry about it if it wasn't for the fact that they marketed it to be something else. Because if they had marketed it the whole time about this defection type story or whatever, then I would have been fine. Because at least I would have known the entire time, even coming in, that this wouldn't be a story I would really care about. And I'd rather have a story that I don't care about than a story I'm mad at. And that's the thing. I'm mad at this story because it's just meh when it could have been so much more. And it's ridiculous. Like, and also the fact that they false advertised us. Like, for gosh sakes. If the trailers weren't declared false advertising on the story, then I don't know what is. The only game there's only 2 games. No, not even 2. Probably just 1 game that had a marketing campaign more misleading for its story than this one. And that was frickin' Halo 5. A game that broke me because of its misleading marketing. Like, I was gonna say Destiny 1 as well, but at least Destiny 1, we knew so little that honestly we didn't really know what to expect. But this, we knew what to expect, and we didn't get what we expected. And I'm not saying I'm not in with the whole... I can't even finish. I'm not saying I'm not in to have the game surprise me in subtle ways. That's fine. Like I said, if the moral dilemma is being put to question, then have it where, like Iden Versio just like goes rogue for a while and just stops Operation Cinder, and then after that joins back in with the Empire and then forge the First Order or something with Grand Admiral Ray Sloan. But no, they don't even do that. They have it where she has to defect to the other side because why not? Freaking. Like I said, the legitimacy of this is ridiculous because you realize in a logical sense this was marketed to be so much more. Like, for gosh sakes, I'm gonna play the original reveal trailer just to prove my point.
I've waited 30 years for this. I still remember my last orders. The day the real war began.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist.
We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
We avenge our Emperor.
Resistance. Rebellion. You will burn these ideas away.
Hope cannot save them!
So if you listen to the whole concept of there, it's ridiculous because not only has this trailer marketed itself to, you know, with the way it's written and format to be an Imperial story, but there are literally clips and cutscenes in that trailer that isn't even in the final game. Like, for God's sakes, where's the line like, hope cannot save them? Where's the crap about, you know, frickin' the whole thing where, Iden Versio holding a gun to Luke at gunpoint? Or one of the members of Inferno Squad, I don't know who it is, but I'm just saying. Where's that? Where's frickin'... Where the freak is the game we were promised? Oh my... Like, honestly, the only thing I could have seen happening, aside from they were just purposely misleading us, which is, at this point, it's not beyond any question, like it easily could have been the case. But the only alternative, and it's the one I'd rather believe in, is that DICE came in with the intention of making this complex Imperial story, but then Disney and EA came in and went like, nope, you gotta have her defect. But and then like DICE is like, okay then, but we would need to change everything up, and EA's like, nope, but you keep. It's like Disney says to change it to her defecting in Rebels. EA is the one who says, oh, still market it as a Imperial story, because, and we'll keep your old cutscenes and all that for the marketing. That's what it seems like to me, because it's like companies aren't, technically the developers aren't in charge of modern day marketing, like companies are, like publishers, and it's like, this is a move I know for a fact DICE would not do. But it's a move I know EA would do. Oh my God. If I keep talking about the campaign right now with the whole misleading story, it's going to keep me up all night. So I'm going to move on to the multiplayer thing. I played the beta and all that. It's fun. Blah, blah, blah. But gained the whole news report about how the loot crate system has completely screwed up the progression, and even worse, it's blocked off heroes now. Like, what? Guys, I only defended the loot crate system a little bit because I thought that the impacts it would make would only be cosmetics and freaking like star card boosts and all that and whatever. But I couldn't really care about that because they said the whole thing that they won't be upgrading all that. But now to have it where star cards are tied to rank, and even worse, having heroes being blocked off, they started at 40,000 which was already ridiculous. Then it's like, then the news came in that they then cost 60,000, which pissed everyone off to the point where, like, Reddit was talking about this as like a legitimate complaint, and EA's response to it was that, oh, we want to give people incentivized pride behind what they're getting and blah blah blah. Like, it should be a major accomplishment thing. Like, don't you dare tell me that you blocked off heroes for the sake of it being a reward. You did it so people would have another reason to buy loot crates. Like, are you trying to say we're that dumb? Luckily, Reddit didn't find it dumb, as now that post has become like the most disliked freaking Reddit post in Reddit history. And EA is now panicking. They're pretty much panicking now. Like, they thankfully lowered the hero cost thing to now, it's now finally decided at 15,000. Which I guess is manageable. It's not overly abundant, but it doesn't change the fact that we shouldn't have to pay credits through loot crates, or just, we shouldn't have to grind or pay real money to get a frickin' hero. Heroes are part of the Battlefront sandbox. That is something that you frickin' keep in and allow access of at all times. Like, I swear, it's to this point now where with their systems, they made the little things that I had complaints that were for the most part subjective, like crosshair, for example. I didn't like the idea of crosshair. And, you know, like, I played the beta, it was a little more tolerable, but I still didn't like it. But, you know, especially with DICE saying that once when enough heroes came post-launch, they would switch it era-specific, and also the fact that, you know, things were just going okay. I brought high hopes for myself, especially considering that I pretty much came in with the mentality, you know what, it may not be authentic, but I guess the crosshair thing can at least be fun. At least it can be, you know, a fun thing just to do to the side, especially like if it's permanent, I won't like it, but whatever, I'll eventually get over it. And if it's like just a temporary thing till hero specific thing comes in, then yeah, I'll be completely fine. But now, due to heroes and being blocked and all that, and now making the decision to make heroes across different things more expensive now, with the error thing, which is supposed to be their compromise, quote unquote, but honestly, that only makes it worse to me. Because now you're having it where it's the worst of both worlds. Because now it's like the authentic guys like me, we're still getting screwed. Like, look, the whole thing with Crosshair, I hated it from the beginning. But I just, like, if I was going to get this authenticity type thing broken, I at least want it to be broken with the whole thing that the people that were for it are satisfied with their type of fun that they would get out of it. But now they're not even going to get that because it's like 8,000 battle points to get Kylo Ren or all that. And it's even worse now when you get to this point where half of the heroes are blocked off through loot crates. It's like Vader blocked, Luke blocked, Palpatine blocked, Item Versio blocked, Leia blocked. Like, they've pretty much blocked almost half of the heroes behind the progression system. What? Like, oh my, are you kidding me? And pretty much people have gone through this whole thing with the loot crate system that not only does it screw up progression, but pretty much now it's to the point where it couldn't be a more pay-to-win system. I still have to figure that out. But even if it's not a pay to win, it's still screwing up the longevity of the game. I don't even know if I even want to buy the game right now. That's how angry I am at it. Like, honestly, even if I do make the decision to buy it, it probably won't be till at least, like, at least a week after launch. And, like, even if I do buy it, it's not going to be from any store. Like, I will buy it used from an independent person. Why? Because my money is not going back to EA. It's not. Alright? I will buy it from someone who already gave their crap to EA. But I'm not buying it to give money to EA. Because this pisses me off. Alright? Honestly, I haven't been this disappointed about something since, well, Battlefront 1 and Halo 5. And it's like, it improves in so many areas. The Galactic Assault mode, for the time I had with it, was fun. Really freaking fun on Naboo. And I'm excited to try it out on the other maps. Starfighter Assault, the mechanics couldn't be better. Freaking the graphics, the moments of authenticity when they're there, they're really awesome. But now it's like, honestly, now it's like the authenticity part, Crosshair is like the least of my worries. Now it's going to be like, authenticity is going to be broken because someone paid extra money to get this gun that can one-shot me. Even though it's made specifically that, like, clone troopers won't get one-shotted. The more I talk about it, the angrier I get. So I just need to stop here before I get angry to the point where I'm still deciding to myself if I want to boycott this game or not. Because it's getting ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. And the way EA has treated the community about all this stuff, it's just... It's not like I was even asking for much. Alright, I could have moaned and complained about the whole thing that, oh, the original Battlefront 2 has quote-unquote more content because it has all the maps across the era type things like Geonosis, the Heroes Obi-Wan, all that grappa stuff. I could have complained that, the system to gain heroes and vehicles wasn't aligned with what I wanted. But no, I didn't complain about these things because I knew while they weren't what I personally wanted, they were still good. And they were still great ideas that could have made this game a true piece of art. And what happened to that? What happened back when EA was called Electronic Arts? It wasn't called Electronic Microtransactions. It was called Electronic Arts because they made a work of art. I'm hurt. I'm really hurt by this. It honestly breaks me internally, and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna wait for the game to come out tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch the early reviews from IGN, GameSpot, and then probably some personal ones. Like, honestly, my final decision will probably not be decided till Angry Joe makes his review, because he's the only review right now. Like, I disagree with him on some things, but it's like, at least I can trust him in his reviews to get out everything that needs to be said. IGN and GameSpot and all them, they won't. But I digress. Well, I probably, no matter what, well, I probably eventually get the game. Yeah, of course I will, because it's freaking Star Wars. But if I'm lucky, if I decide not to get it and only get it because it's Star Wars, it'll be for less than $20 on a freaking used copy shelf across the world, and they can rightfully ship it to me, and the money will go to those poor people that can, I don't know, spend the money and buy some cookies or something. Instead of EA, where they can use that money as an excuse to take advantage of their fan base. Well, that's it, guys. Just stand by for reviews and all that, and if I decide to get the game relatively quickly, I will make my review for it. And, yep, that's about it, guys. This is Dumber Orange 927. I'll see you next time. Peace out, guys.